Hey, Tao Airlines Math and History, and we're going to be solving Terence Tao's literal equation. If you don't know who Terence Tao is, he's a mathematician at UCLA, and he's actually one of the world's famous and best mathematicians on the planet. This is briefly described on a video on logarithms and Tao's Leap Challenge. So if you watch this video on this channel, it will briefly describe what the subject is and who Terence Tao is. And let's start solving this literal equation. So, what we gotta do first is we gotta have that r, and we gotta multiply both sides of the equation to get rid of r. So if we multiply this by r and multiply this by r, the r's will cancel out. So now we have p as a fraction with q as a denominator is going to equal q with the exponent of -1. Then we have r squared, because a variable times a variable is going to be the variable squared. That's why you hear the idea x multiplied up by x is going to become x squared. So we have r squared, because r times r is r squared. A. So what we just did is simplify to get this new equation. If you like having the equal sign on the right side of the piece of paper or your assignment sheet, then we're going to have the same equation, but rearranged differently. This will help us later. After that, the next step is to multiply this q, both sides of the equation, by this. So we have to multiply this by q and multiply this by q. We're going to get this q and that q off the board, so they no longer existed. So now we have a new equation of q to the -1 power. Then we have r squared a q is going to equal p. What we just did is get the q away from the p, so now p is alone, but we just want a alone. This is not done yet. The next thing we could do is to simplify even further. Q to the -1 power is going to be 1 over q. You might have thought it was going to be a negative q, because when you have like 10 to the -1, you're going to get an answer as 1 over 10. Because if you have a negative exponent to a number, that's going to tell you, yes, it's going to be less than 1, but no, it's not going to be a negative number. Your answer will become a fraction. If you want to look deeper into this, then you might want to watch the videos that have negative exponents in them. That will briefly explain why it's a fraction. So we have 1 over q a r squared with q right snugged in equals p. So we simplified even further. After we turn that q into a fraction, since we have a q over a fraction and we want to get rid of it to get a alone, we gotta multiply it again by q on both sides. So now we get an answer of 1 arq squared 1a with q r squared equals pq, because when we multiply both sides by q, these cancel out, but now we have a q right here. And with 1a, it's just 1a, so pretty much we're going to rewrite the whole thing as a with qr squared equals pq, because 1a is the same thing as a, just 1 of 1. Here comes the easy part. what we're gonna wanna do is use the division property of equality so we can get A alone. So we have Q R squared and PQ. We're gonna have to divide both sides by Q R squared. And when we do that, these two are gonna cancel out, and we have A equals PQ of over Q R squared. But this is not our final answer, because what we gotta do is simplify that again. So we're gonna get an answer of A is gonna equal P over R squared, because we have a Q right here, and we have a Q sneaking right next to the R squared right here. So we could just crisscross them out, because Q divided by Q is nothing. So our answer is going to be A equals P over R squared. We have now isolated the A to get it alone. So in 1983, Terence Tao solved this problem at 7 years old. That is crazy for his age when he did it. And the scientists that did the testings for him actually wrote a book. And it actually explains here, on page 214 to 215, the same exact equation and problem. But instead of having A inserted in it, they have delta instead. But we use A to make it look a little bit more simpler, because delta, it is a letter, but it's not really an English letter, so we wanted to make it easier. And guess what we got? Delta is going to equal P over R squared. And since we replaced delta with A, we technically got the same exact answer. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you for watching Tao Analyze Math Industry. Like and subscribe. And to end the video, let's watch SpongeBob and Patrick take things too literally.